Now, the question is, where on what level? And what does this mean about the United States? Because the idea that we don't own what Israel does to the regime in Iran is ignorant, to say the least, okay? Let's bring in two much better minds. Former State Department analyst for Republicans and Democratic administrations, Aaron David Miller, and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, retired Brigadier General Mark Kimmit. Gentlemen, thank you very much. ADM, what's your read on the United States' involvement and posture regarding the next phase of this?
You know, Trump opened the door, Chris, when on Thursday he basically said to the Israelis, you know, I have doubts about what you're going to do in terms of unilaterally striking Iran, but I'm not going to say no. And then he persisted basically in becoming part of the Israeli deception, because part of the deception was to lull the Iranians to sleep, assuming that Witkoff and the foreign minister would meet yesterday, right, in Oman. The Iranians bought it, and the Israelis executed the beginning of a decapitation strategy against 9 nuclear scientists and physicists, head of the IRGC. Mm-hmm. Now he doesn't need to leave the G7. He could manage whatever crisis there is up there, but he's chosen not to. He's returning to Washington. You got one of two possibilities. He's made a decision to put his finger on the scales, or the words of one of my favorite country songs, One More Last Chance. This is coercive diplomacy at its best. He's going to basically say to Stephen Witkoff, offer Arachi another meeting. Remember way back in '91 when Jim Baker met Tariq Aziz in Geneva right before Desert Storm? It could be one of those meetings, but clearly for a guy who has consistently said, I don't want to get involved in this war, he may actually have taken the next big step toward it.
Of course, there's a third option, which he was bored at the G7, and I'm not insulting him. But you don't know what could have happened there that made him decide he want to leave. He's very easily offended. One more quick bounce question, and then I want to come to you, General. And thank you for your patience. The suggestion that the Israelis said, "Hey, we're going to try and take out the Ayatollah," and the president said, "No, you can't do that," and they said, "Okay, we won't." In your experience, is that how it works?
Well, first of all, there was only one experience, and I was in government, but I didn't experience it directly. And that's when George W. Bush met with the King of Saudi Arabia and Crawford, and the Saudis were incredibly worried that the Israelis, this was the spring of '02, incredibly worried that the Israelis were going to take Arafat out. And the Saudis literally threatened to walk out of the meeting if Bush didn't send the message that to the Israelis, don't do this. So, you know, killing a leader, I'm sure the Israelis have in mind that that's something they do at the right time. Trump, I think, was wise to ward them off. We're going to see a much bigger play, Chris, if they go after Fordo with these big, massive ordnance penetrators.
So, General, as we are on air here, the warning sirens are going off in Tel Aviv. I've been getting texts about it. That's what I just said it was. But I'm getting texts from people over there saying that this is probably precautionary because of what's happening before them. But, General, you know, you were one of the first people I remember telling me in the war on terror that you can't kill an idea. The idea that you have a military win in situations like this is a little naive. Is that true about the regime in Tehran, that, you know, you can get rid of the Ayatollah, you can wipe out the regime? It doesn't mean that the place just becomes an oasis.
No, I think, first of all, we're comparing Islamist terrorism and radical Islamic terrorism to what is going on inside the Islamic Republic of Tehran, of Iran. Fact is, I don't necessarily see it as a ideologically based organization. It's clear that it has an idea, but that ideology which it is trying to promote is not trying to promote around the region. I just don't think that's a fair comparison. The Japanese had a militarist ideology. We took care of that. The Germans in World War II had an ideology. We took care of that. And candidly, I think that this state actor of Iran, you can certainly end the Iranian regime and the Ayatollah and this view of Shia Islam that they have.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.